service of ire.
Welcome back to the Code A Round 3. Now it is time for Bbyong up against Heart. We just watched a team kill. Squirtle was able to beat his teammate 2-0, holding two racks proxy rushes. Really well done.
Yeah, both of them coming out of the booth and just both of them laughing as still good teammates here. And now we have, of course, a different matchup. We have a Terran versus Terran. We have Bbyong against Heart. And then later on, Alive against Creator.
As you can see, Squirtle will remain in Code S. He fell out in the round of 16 in his group, so he fell down here. But spelling of his name actually makes me smile.
Not only you.
But don't fret, Squirtle fans, nor Hack fans, because Hack still has a chance to get into Code S if he can get through that arduous Code up and down group. See if he can get into Code S, because we don't even know who's going to be in those groups just yet.
Actually, thinking about it, up and downs are next week, right?
Yeah, I believe
straight
so.
after the Code S final, so that's going to be really interesting. It's just always so stressful for the players, especially if you end up in one of those 6-player groups. But this is going to be, of course, another nice match that we're going to see right now. Bbyong up against his opponent, Heart. Yeah, Heart. And Heart is one of those guys that you never know what he's going to do.
He's so dangerous. All right, Bbyong looking pretty scary himself already. 2-0, coming up from Code B. Looking pretty good, but Heart actually did so well in Code S. He's killed so many good players, and when I say kill, I mean he basically kills them. He doesn't actually mess around. This guy is such a dangerous opponent. I would not want to face him if my Code S life may depend on it.
Yeah, me neither. The complexity player is definitely one of those turns that you have to watch out for. He can play so many different strategies. He's known for his all-ins, so if you don't scout perfectly against him, you might just lose the game without even knowing what hit you.
That's very true. I expect to see at least one game where he sees a very aggressive one-base play out of Heart. Map number 1 is going to be Antigua Shipyard. And certainly on even this map, you can see very aggressive proxy barracks plays. You can see proxy starports, Cloak Banshee play. All sorts of strategies are very well done on this map. It's basically a map where any strategy is possible in most matchups. I really like this map.
Yeah, Antigua Shipyard is a really, really good map for an opening match. I feel like actually we've seen a few games today that, for example, the Whirlwind game, you know, as an opening map, that's always a little bit weird because it gives an advantage to one of the players. When we saw Vampire up against Jan, but right now in TBT, it's of course a lot more balanced in the mirror match.
That is certainly true.
This is a cool match to have to see here for the opening. Terran versus Terran here at the GSL Code A. It is the 3rd round. The winner advances to Code S. Let's find out if it's going to be Bbyong or Heart. And starting to the right side of the map, we have our first Terran player starting in the red here. This is the Casper Terran. It is
CJ to Bbyong.
Oh, his fan club is here.
Yeah. Got some fans. I'm liking the shirt. Very yellow.
Yeah. Different.
A little bit different.
Adding a bit of an exotic touch here. To the left, we have his opponent, the complexity player. Not in his home color. No, he's starting in blue. Will he be able to prevail today and get back into Code S? We're gonna find out. This is
Complexity Heart.
My heart beats for some of these strategies. He is super aggressive. He doesn't care who you are, where you're from. He wants to destroy you with aggressive strategy.
You know, the thing is that the last 2 Terran versus Terrans that he played, he lost both of them. Both best of 3s without winning a map. He lost in the Iron Squid qualifier against Bbyong with a 2-0. And before this, in Code S, he also... sorry, not in Code S, but at MLG Summer Championship, he lost against the STC with a 2-0-2. And, well, we're gonna find out what exactly he's up to. Hart takes the gas a little bit later than Bbyong. Bbyong already with the gas first here.
This gas timing from Hart makes it look like he may want to do that Reactor Hellion build with a Banshee, or with the Medevac rather, and some Marines to try to put pressure on his opponent. This build is really popular in Terran vs Protoss right now, but it can be used in this matchup as well. With the gas being a little bit later, you can do a strategy like this because you only really need the gas, the factory, the starport, and the medevac. Everything else is mineral units.
You know what I always find funny? We just saw the overlay at the bottom with the faces of the two players, and there it is again. Bbyong has this really happy face and happy smile in all these pictures that we are using at the GSL, whereas every single player, every other player is trying to look like dangerous, strong, and grim, and Bbyong is like the only one who has this big-ass smile on his face.
Yeah, he's very happy, it seems. He is actually going to be doing a Reaper Expand, it looks like, which is another way. They're actually both doing Reaper Expand.
Yeah, both of them are doing the same strategy, with a bit of a different gas timing, as mentioned already before. Bbyong got his gas a lot faster, but in the end, they are both building Reapers with the reactor that they added to their barracks.
That SCB was well taken care of once he wanted to get back in the base.
Hart being the first player who takes an expansion, a rare sight indeed.
Yeah, that's actually true, considering he's also making on low ground. And wow, look at that. Very rarely do you see combat shields before Stim with a Reaper Expand, but he's actually going for it. He wants to have the longevity of his Marines, gain that extra 10 hit points.
Very early too, and now the Reapers, both of them are on their way. Oh wow, Bbyong actually lives in the main base now.
That's really interesting. I wonder if I'm looking to try to see if something tipped him off, but I just can't see a reason.
He must have seen it.
There's a situation now that's going to occur where he tries to break up the ramp. The Reaper is out of position, so this may actually work. It's going to definitely, the first engage is definitely going to go in Hart's favor. Trumps the Reaper up and actually attacks the depot rather than attacking those Marines. That was a mistake, and now he can no longer approach.
Even the SCV was in range. So now Bbyong and Hart both are looking at one Reaper, that's all there's to it. Of course, the combat shield now being way faster for Bbyong. He's adding additional barracks, his command center is ready. Hart has the advantage of building his own CC on the low ground. But funny as it is, Bbyong's Reaper already with 2 kills. He was waiting in the middle of the map at the Zalnaga Watchtower, and Hart retreats with his SCV and the Marines, and both of them get taken.
That was really a nice choice, nice touch there, sending it right into the line of sight blocker. He could have even waited. Now, Hart, rather than going for a fast stim upgrade, is actually going for double reactors on his barracks. He's going to have a ton of Marine production here, but his Marines are going to be less upgraded, so it's going to be an issue where Hart has more Marines than Bbyong, but Marines of Bbyong have better upgrades, and he's trying to catch this Reaper. I don't think he's quite going to be able to do it. It's going to be close.
It's going to be very close if he it just waits. Yeah, but you are right. We have now Stim coming for Hart too. He has the +1 attack upgrade being researched, something that Bbyong will have later because his engineering bay is not done yet. But we will definitely see more units for Hart. The thing is though, with the combat shield, the more units you control, the more important combat shield becomes.
Absolutely. The effect multiplies based on how many Marines you have. Stim can be set in the same way. They're both going to have Stim around the same time, but when you're stimming, your opponent basically has 1 extra Stim over you if he has those combat shields.
Yeah.
This Reaper will actually have to leave the Watchtower, but he may be able to get a shot or 2 off using that line of sight blocker. He's not even going to try it. Smart choice, I feel.
Reaper number 1 for Bbyong is now already on its way back into the middle of the map, claiming the Zalnaga Watchtower. And, well, the harvester count right now is barely even. No, not a huge difference. Oh, this time the Reaper's out of luck.
Yeah, he caught him there. And you know, this is actually one of the few times the Reaper actually survives to about the 8-minute mark, where the Reaper can actually try to scout the tech timings of the opponent, but it's kind of a risk to scout. But if you don't scout with the Reaper, what's it going to be for? So you just gotta take that risk and run around the map like this.
Talk about the tech timings. We have Bbyong every single time a little bit farther ahead of his opponent. He's getting the +1 attack upgrade a bit slower, but on the other hand, the starport is much faster. So he's looking at a pretty good tech here. He needs to be careful though. Yeah, the Reaper doesn't stand a chance here. Takes on 1 SCV.
Yeah, gets an SCV. That was pretty cool. He also sees his opponent's Marine count. That's going to make him feel pretty comfortable, considering he's got a decent amount of Marines. His production is quite nice as well. But you're right. The +1 is done for Hart first. He starts his +1 armor first, but the starport tech is going to be perhaps more useful. It all comes down to the timings of when either of these players decide to move out, when they decide to take a third, because all these upgrades don't matter unless they fight each other. And without another base or without another pressure attack, there's not going to be a fight.
Hart is getting his combat shield, whereas Bbyong already builds the first two medivacs. A double scan, one for each player is going down here, but none of them wants to move out.
Yeah, they're both just saying, okay, right now they're both scanning and seeing basically what we just said. Okay, his start port's a little bit later than his. Okay, he's got his medevacs coming out first, and maybe his marine count's a little bit worse than mine because I had my production up a little bit longer. But neither of them knows that their advantage. They both have slight advantages over the other, but neither one of those advantages can actually allow them to attack successfully.
With the medivacs now, Bbyong can start to do a bit of damage. Try to just sneak past his opponent's army with a dropship and do a drop in the main base, and then here we go, moving into the middle of the map already. And if he catches Hart, it could be quite devastating, especially since combat shield isn't even done.
Yeah, it's going to be done soon. That marine actually barely does not escape, but now he doesn't still see the positioning of his opponent's army, and this is a really scary spot for Hart. He needs to retreat. He doesn't even want to stim, but he's losing several marines here. He's forced to. He still doesn't have combat shields.
Oh, wow, and I don't think that Bbyong really knew about it. If he knew, he would have fought. He already killed a lot of units, but he could definitely have fought this out.
Yeah. He stimmed a lot, though, and these medevacs are going to be very taxed as a result. And you can see Hart still remains ahead in supply. Now his upgrade is done. He's actually going to be at 1-1 before +1 is done for the armor of Bbyong's units. That may come into play as well.
What is really important for Hart is that he also has an advantage in workers. He has more workers than Bbyong. He's already getting his third base up now. So this is going to become very significant. Bbyong is very low in economy if you think about it. He's only looking at 46 harvesters, he's not getting a third base, so this is becoming very, very dangerous for the CGN.
Hart wants to fight, he's going to stim and run in here, he's got the better upgrade advantage and it's going to show here, but he does not have the concave, and the concave becomes much more important, and Hart may actually just lose this game right here and right now. He's losing every single one of his marines.
Yes, he lost the entire marine army and now will most likely lose the medivac too. There it is. And this is a very aggressive force now, 28 marines against 11, and there is no siege war just yet.
Yeah, it's not done yet. He doesn't have enough units really to hold here. This a force is not
Going to stop. They're both at 1-1 at this point, and Bbyong just has too much.
Yeah, he moves in and takes down the siege tank, takes down SCVs, and the second siege tank as well. Takes a huge supply lead, and so many medivacs, and even the Manor Mules.
Manor Mule comes down, and now he doubles Heart Supply. Just goes to show in Marine Medic versus Marine Medic fights, the better count always wins. GG.
Game over.
The snowball effect that happens with one misengagement in this matchup is just insane.
Yeah, Hart takes a fight that he was not able to win, and from that point on, Bbyong takes it without a problem at all.
I respect his choice because you see the units, you scan, you click on him, you say, I have 1-1, and he doesn't. But he had the better concave, and if he had gone a little bit faster, maybe he could have gotten there before the concave, but it was so close, it's so hard to judge a situation like that.
Every single time I see Bbyong, he reminds me of some character, some cartoon character, anime character. I do not know, but I cannot put my finger on it.
I see what you're saying.
Especially if you have the, the frontal face shot. It's like,
He kind of reminds me of Junwei for some reason, even though they look really different. I don't know why.
No. I'm really more thinking about some kind of anime character, but I cannot come up with a name. I think it's a series that I watched when I was a kid, a long time ago. It's a little bit odd to say it, but every single time I see a camera shot of him, something in my mind is like, you know this guy, he looks very similar to someone. But, well, being as it may, he won game number 1, came from Code B, he won one of the Code A qualifiers, really goes straight to Code S. That would be quite the achievement.
Well, that Intu's jacket, man, is just really standing out. He looks brighter than the sun. He's up a game here. Hart is now on the ropes. He played a straight-up game, expanded before his opponent. They both went for identical builds, and at the end of the day, the better concave won Bbyong in that game. Next map is going to be Daybreak. Will Hart change up his style? Will he stick with what he's known for? Will he try to play a long game again? Everything is on the line here. If he loses, then Bbyong will get that Code S spot. This is the GSL Round 3 of Code A, Caldor and Wolf.
Oops, Top right of Daybreak. We currently see the Terran player in red who was able to win game number 1. And we actually might have a regame here. It certainly looks like this is what's going to happen.
Yep. Both GOMTV observers have left, so we're all just going to leave.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, I guess we're going to have the intro again.
Okay, let's start this again.
This
Game
is
number
kind of
2.
annoying for everybody, but it's not going to be too big a deal. I'm just going to rejoin the lobby. Don't get stressed out at home.
Who dropped? Was it Legends?
It was actually, I think, the Korean observer that they use on screen. So he dropped
that's
out first,
fine.
then everybody had to drop out.
That's fine. As long as we are still in there, as long as Legends in there, everything's good.
Yeah. I don't want to observe, actually, so as long as he's in there, I'm okay. Well, the map is, of course, still Daybreak. It was just a drop of some kind. There was no sort of wrong map or anything like that, as far as I can tell.
Yep. No idea what the issue was, but we are having a quick regame, and then everything's going to be fine. The players are already joining the lobby. Bbyong is on his way. Hard 2. Daybreak, of course, still being the map. Nothing has changed, and then we'll find out who goes to Codes. And as I said before, Bbyong is actually one of the guys who won a Code A qualifier, and there are so few players that have been able to win a Code A qualifier and then go straight to Codes. A few that come to mind are Parting. Brown, Slayers Brown was also able to pull that off. So that's going to be pretty cool. I'm really interested to see if one of the Casper players, if Bbyong in particular, now is able to pull this off. How many Casper players do we have in Codes? Of course, Rain.
I think we have 4 now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, roughly. I have to look it up later, but that's gonna add a little bit of spice to the next season of Codes. That's for sure.
Yeah, Bbyong may be able to jump right in with his Casper buddies, and there's a lot of players that are going to go through the up and down matches, like Flash, for example, who were not able to get to the 3rd round, who may still be able to jump right into Codes as well. If they can win that crazy up and down match group, it's going to be so hard to actually overcome.
Yeah, next week, up and downs. Don't miss out on it, and don't forget about the Codes final on Saturday. That's going to be so epic. This season was crazy, but the final will be even better. The game has been started, by the way, so the Terran versus Terran goes into round number 2. Bbyong is up against Hart, and we're going to find out who will win on Daybreak. If it's going to be Bbyong, then he will advance to Codes, or if Hart is able to force game number 3. Map has loaded, and I guess we're good to go.
Yep, I am if you are.
Yep.
I think we're going to jump right back into the player intros.
Born ready, baby.
I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know,
Apparently
it's a mystery.
the Korean observers are not ready. The Korean casters are a little bit slow today.
What's happening? All right, we do see the GSL logo again. It's really starting to check out those hands. Check out that face. Check out the other hands and the other face. The intro has restarted. This is GSL Code A, and it's on.